All right, all right. Let's try it
We're
again. It
back.
says we're live, so we'll see if we're live. Hey, anybody, if you guys catch us out there, please share it. Hey, Kat, why don't you see if you can go ahead and start sharing it again
Oh, I'll be
on there?
happy to.
We did actually get Ed on here, and we're going to bring him back on. Hey, things happen. This is, this is live webs, and you just never know what's going to happen. So there's somebody popping in there. If you guys can hear us and everything, okay, please leave a comment. We do got Gale. Gale, he made it with us. You see, I see you. There you go. Can you see us now? If you guys can see us, hey Cheryl, how you doing? There we go. Hopefully, for some reason, there
Hi,
you are.
Cheryl.
I don't know what's going on. All of a
Hi,
sudden,
Valerie.
everything disappeared. Nobody could come on. Uh, there we had like 15 people. All of a sudden, everybody disappeared, and you couldn't put no comments on. But hey, that is all a part of live TV, and we're just going to keep going with it because that's what we do on the Dale Cat Show.
Thanks, everybody, so
Never
much
give up.
for your patience, and thanks for your understanding.
Yeah, thanks for coming back and joining us and hear and see you. And we got the comments back, so everybody's popping in there.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. So hopefully you guys can catch us. If you can, Kat, share it to our pages. Share it to wherever you guys can right now. Myron says Dell fall. Probably is. I don't know what happened. Everybody was in there and all of a sudden just disappeared. And but hey, it happens, guys. There's Cindy. How you doing, Cindy? Good to see you out there.
Hi,
hello, Al. How you doing? Hey, guys. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us.
Yes,
Man,
thank you so much.
I'm starting to sweat there just a little bit. You ever?
Him was mad.
Like, it's the internet. What are you going to do when that happens? So we do got Ed. He's down there in the green room. So we did get it that far. So we're going to continue doing the show. So we'll have a part 1 and a part 2 on the Dale and Cat Show with this one here. So it's pretty cool. So how you like that? So we'll have 2 shows. So, But yeah, we got Ed Gale. He's down there going to join us. We're going to pop him up here in just a second and get to hear his story. So everybody, please, man, we're back on live. Get out there, share the show. Let all your friends know, hey, we got Howard the Duck, we got Chucky, we got Ed, and I want to hear Ed's story is what I want to do. So we got what's up? How are you all doing? We're doing great. Good to see you out there. Dennis. All right, please share this, guys. I know we had shared the other post, and now it's disappeared. So with any further ado, hold on. Let me play this real quick because he was such a great guy. Ed was, and he did this video for us, and I want to share it with you. Check it out, guys.
This is Ed Gale, star of Howard the Duck, and you're watching the Dale and Cat Show on Rider Now TV.
Well, check it out. So nice. All right. We're going to bring Ed Gale up with no further ado, and he said, hey, he made it this far, so let's get it going. Hey, Ed, how you doing? There he is.
Ed, thank you so much for your patience.
And then we can't hear him. Boy, there we go. There, you messing with me?
Yeah.
Oh man.
He's probably because the last couple of days I've been messaging him and stuff, and my big thumb, I would put some on there and it says, tell me more about you. And every time I kept on pressing, he's like, man, what are you doing, guy?
So I asked him, I said, what are you wearing?
Hey, Ed, thanks for joining us, and thanks for putting up with us with all this shenanigans going on over here on the web.
Yeah.
And we really
I have an extremely short fuse with all of the medication.
Yeah.
And just a lot of things going in my body, different than,
Yeah.
And I was done. I mean, my assistant was over here, and I just unplug it. I said, take the phone, take the SIM card out, whatever. I'm done.
Yeah.
And of course, I always get over it. It takes me 30 seconds, But I just get so on edge, I was like, I tried to be here on time.
Yeah.
And now I can't find you.
Yeah. But look,
once you find that easy link to give them,
Yeah.
You just gotta find. There's too many links, too many possible ways. Find the one that whatever you did for me, do that for the people.
Yeah. Well, we
So,
appreciate you joining us here, Ed, and we're really excited to hear your story. I know earlier we were talking that you worked over there in Indiana for a minute. Can you tell everybody a little bit how you got started? It's a great story.
yeah. Again, Irvine, California, is not Indiana.
Yeah, that's true.
Big difference.
And you keep saying Indiana. Um,
I'm thinking Elkhart is what
yeah,
I'm.
Elkhart, Indiana is where they're built. And then they ship them to California, where we sold them. Um, the man who drove the motorhomes, the maybe 3 or 4 people who did it on regular, and he lived in Michigan. Well, and he owned the local uh, pizza place. And when you own the local pizza place, you're God. you know. So we all hung out. I'm switching cables. My battery
All
don't
right.
want to charge up. And God damn it. What was that? Oh, I picked up cable A, dropped cable B, and plug A back in. That's right where I started from. Hey, here we go.
There you are.
How many we got here? You said 0. I didn't know that number. We're at.
Now we're about 18 now. They came
Oh,
back.
and 17 come from me. Thank you.
There you go.
That was number 18. Um, and his son told him, that he wants to go to California to become an actor. And a lot of people, well, no one, believed in it. And, yeah, I find myself the same way now when kids will come up to me and say, I'm going to be a singer.
Uh,
Yeah, no, you know, no, you're not. And don't have children. Um, and he says, I go out there every month, sometimes every 2 months, depends on sales. And I drive the motorhomes out there. Maybe we could get you set up to work at the motorhome place while you're going on auditions and stuff. Well, the chief of police of my hometown already gave me that option to stay with his mother, and
uh,
his brother would take me to auditions. Well, at least I had 2 options already, and we hadn't even left Indiana. So I get here, and the owner of the California office wants me like close to his hip because he's like, you're gonna get run over by motorhomes. You're gonna get you know no, this is not a good thing. And you're not going to be an actor. You're going to go back to Michigan, and you're going to do this. And I ended up working out very well in the motorhomes because as a as a student, they wouldn't give me a gym class.
yeah.
Afraid I'd get hurt and they're liable. And they wouldn't give me like an auto shop or metal shop. So I had the choice to, replace those. Well,
Mm-hmm.
all that was left was office, clerical, business. So I had to have my regular office in clerical because you have to like 3 a year.
Yes.
And so I had to fill up my card with the other one, with other clerical. And so that's all I had. I was the smartest kid in the class when it came to secretarial and typing and filing. I couldn't tell you what the hell a basketball was. Didn't know what it was for. And I had gone to this all happened in September. And then in December, I was invited to a Little People of America uh, Christmas party where I met Billy Barty in passing. And then in January, Universal Studios or George Lucas, they both worked on the film, called the Little People of America looking for little people at a specific size, shape, and, el- uh, uh, not to be eligible, to agile, agility, etc., etc. He gave them like 4 or 5 names, and one of them was mine. And I tell everybody my Howard the Duck was my first anything, my first audition, my first rejection, my first callback, and eventually, booking the job. And then Howard the Duck did a lot for me, not because not because of the box office.
Yeah.
Actors are not responsible for that. That's your director is. If the movie bombs, they got to have a scapegoat, and they'll usually do the writer or the director. So actors don't usually take the blame for it, not too often. And but other people would say, what have you done? And I said, I've only done one film. They panic. You know, one film is not even in the bill. We want an actor,
Yeah.
and they find out it was Howard the Duck. They looked past the failure of it financially.
Yeah.
They looked at it like, oh my God, I didn't even know there was a little person in the costume. And so they said, you could really bring ours to life. Well, I said, hurry up, I'm not getting any younger. And that's how I got Spaceballs, because the guy who worked on Howard the Duck as a supervising producer or something was working on Spaceballs. So he threw my name toward Mel, and you know, and I went in on the to have lunch with Dan, and he just happened to work for Mel Brooks, and so he introduced me to Mel. And he goes, and this guy, my friend, is like 6'6", Swedish guy, And Mel Brooks looks at him, looks at me, looks at him. How the hell do you know this guy? Just worked with him on my last film. He said, you worked on Howard the Duck? And Danny says, no, he was Howard the Duck. And he stood up, put his hand across the table, and says, anybody who can work on that fucking movie can do my movie. And I was in. So
Wow, that's awesome. And what I learned is that you left with like 40, was it $41 in your pocket?
$41, my my bowling ball, the seat and pedals for my car, because I could drive any car back then. I don't drive anymore. Suitcase full of clothes, mostly junk. Had a couple pairs of clothes, and Steve, the owner of the motorhome shop, leaned over to Vern, the driver, and the owner of the pizza place, leaned over and said, "Don't let him spend a dime."
Wow.
You know, $41 in LA. Pay for his food, pay for the if anything comes up, you shouldn't need a hotel, but if you do, just don't let him spend a dime. You know.
Yeah. Ed, could you tell us your inspiration? I believe it goes back to The Wizard of Oz.
Uh, Actually, it goes back to you, because you're the whiz of Streamyard. Um,
Yeah, no kidding.
you know. Um, it's like my mother told me: if you're gonna be good, be the best. If you're gonna be bad, be the worst, and they'll never forget you. Um, I was watching The Wizard of Oz. It had nothing to do with little people because I'd never seen a little person before,
Uh,
except for my mother who died young. So I didn't know it. If it was TV and it wasn't real.
yeah.
There's a little part of it that's never it's not real. If it's really scary, it's not real. And so I wasn't attracted. Like these kids attracted to Frozen. I
Hmm.
wasn't glued to the little people until many, many, many years later when I was in Hollywood and I started meeting them, and it was just a kid at Christmas kind of thing. But I was 8 years old, and I said, I'm going to have my name in the credits because I saw my last name. If anybody knows anything about
Hmm.
Wizard of Oz, the last name was Gale.
Yes.
Dorothy Gale, Emily Gale, Hank, Henry. And so I said, I'm going to have my name on the credits, which coincidentally and ironically, Howard the Duck, I had my name on the front credits, and that was the only movie that ever happened.
Wow.
I was I got in at a time when it was great to be a little person
Uh,
because they're using Ewoks and all the movies. But at the same time, we were still getting the fallout of the Wizard of Oz. We would not be on the posters. They would not put our names anywhere. I was cordially invited. Very nice paper, like the king sent out all rolled up with a string. And I was cordially uninvited to the premiere of Howard the Duck,
Wow.
and also to Chucky. We were uninvited, although we had to they wanted us to put the costume on and walk down the red carpet with Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah.
And they said, thank you. We'll get this costume off of you. I know it's hot, and get you home, as soon as we can. And I said, and little Debbie, she passed away since, but she played Tiffany with me. And she's like, going home. No, we got a movie to see. We're going to the premiere. And they said, oh, they didn't make plans, their seating arrangements. And I said, you wanted us to stand next to Jennifer Tilly and Brad Dourif in line. We're sitting next to them in the theater. Well, they're sitting next to them, and there's not two seats on the other side. And Debbie said, "Watch me." So we go in, and she talked like a trucker.
Yeah. Or a sailor,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. She said, you know, to Jennifer and Brad, how y'all doing? Who's sitting here? Some exec. Okay, tore it in half, threw it on the floor. We're here. And then it said reserved for, like the coward that I was. I was scared of Debbie. I tore it in half and threw it on the floor. And we sat there the whole time. And then we left, and people said, "How was it? How was it?" I said it was terrible, which it wasn't, but you know, pissed me off once. And I mean, I could tell you every story I could imagine on all of my films,
Yeah.
and I can tell them in such a way that would just make you cry your eyes out. I can tell you the exact same story, the exact same scenario, make you laugh your ass off.
Yeah.
So it's not what happened that matters; it's how you let it affect you.
Exactly.
And it affected me terribly. With Howard the Duck, my very first film. Oh, and I couldn't go see the movie in theaters for 6 months.
Wow.
Why was
6 weeks.
that?
What was the reason of that, Ed?
Because they would see me and they would think they would know that Howard the Duck was a little person. And I think you think the audience that stupid,
Wow.
you know, to not know. I've seen people not notice the difference between a puppet and a person. Hell, I've done that on you know Buck Rogers, and I couldn't tell the difference. But that just means you've done your job. You
Exactly.
know, and a
Well,
lot of people didn't know Chucky was a little person,
I
and
was
that
just,
means we did our job.
yeah, I was
You
just
know?
going to ask you, what about the casting for Chucky? How did that work out? As far as, I mean, we know the outcome, but however, how did you get that gig? And when you casted for that, how was the, I don't know, the audition?
No audition for that. Um,
Oh, really? Okay.
they they introduced me to Tom Holland after they told him about Howard the Duck. He went and watched it, and he, then he took it home with him
Mhm.
and watched it over and over and over. And he said it's not the worst movie he's ever seen. He said it's the best movie he's ever. It's not the
Wow.
best movie he's ever seen, but it's not the worst. The best movie was Fright Night because he directed it, and he said, what's your schedule like? And I told him I didn't have anything, going at the moment. I just came off of Spaceballs, and he said, "Jesus, do you ever not work?" And I said, "Well, it's not my goal, you know." And he said, "Well, if you want the job, it's yours. I think you can bring Chucky to life. That I've been watching the puppeteers, and they can't do it as
Wow.
well." So I would study the puppet and try to act more puppety, and then all of the puppeteers would watch me and try to make Chucky more human, and we would meet somewhere in the middle.
Oh, so they used both in that.
Oh yeah, because Chucky was 33 inches tall, and
Uh-huh.
I'm 40 inches tall, and
Oh,
there
so
would be a
they did.
problem. There would be a problem if Chucky would grow and shrink. So they would make all the furniture in my sets. They made double of all the sets,
Mm.
and if he couldn't do it, they could just pop me in and do it. Not have to. Oh, we didn't build a kitchen. You know, give us till June, we'll have a kitchen for you. And they made everything, whether they needed it or not, because it's plywood. You know, you can take it apart.
Fascinating, isn't it? Though.
That's interesting. Ed, what would you say would be your best role? Would it be
I know. I
Howard the
was going to
Duck?
ask
Would
him
it
that
be
too.
Howard the Duck? Because that's your first. You said your first in everything, or because you've been
Yeah,
in
that's
movies.
that was, and it was also the Howard bought my first house, and we were supposed to work for 10 weeks at 1,500 a week. Now this is a little boy from Michigan making
Mm-hmm.
$150 a week.
Yeah.
Um, we shot for 10 months,
Oh.
so plus overtime, I worked until 5 a.m. Thanksgiving morning.
Oh,
So that's 3 times. That's triple gold and a half.
Wow.
that's the trifecta.
Exactly.
It's triple gold because it was Thanksgiving, triple gold and a half because we were into the 17th hour.
Mm.
Wow.
So, and I never took the costume off during the
Oh my
shooting day.
word.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, Ed, because I think you and I are close to the same age. I'll be 57 next week for my birthday.
I'll be 57 August 23rd.
Well,
Oh,
happy
okay.
birthday
You're
to
real
you!
close.
And I know, like you said, growing up and I remember watching the Wizard of Oz and stuff. And back in our day, because we're old school. We had television, we had radio, we had like 4 channels, and I can
Yep.
remember as a kid. And I mean, that was my goal too, man. I wanted to be a stunt man. I used to get on my dad's roof and roll off and fall down to the ground and stuff. And I noticed that do a lot of your own. You've done a lot of your own stunts also. Was that
Yeah,
something
and I've
something you
done
wanted to do?
I've done never. Because I was told never to do stunts if you're going to be an actor because um, actors shouldn't do their own stunts and stuntmen can't act. Was the theory in Hollywood. So if you were looking at a stunt job, then you brag the hell to the stunt director. But if you're talking to a casting director and I say, "What else have you done?" Well, if I did 10 things and 8 of them were stunts, I would tell them I've done 2. You know,
Yeah.
because they don't want to know that you're a stuntman.
Right.
It's like girls can't never played policeman, and because is it art imitating life or life imitating art?
Hmm.
And I know we're in some very sensitive times right now, but that's bullshit. We've been in sensitive times since Vietnam,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and these riots, these poor, what are they? Are they Gen X or Gen Y? I forget.
Yeah. Why?
Um,
Why
I think it was
generation
why. Yeah.
yeah, and
or
there's a new one.
me generation?
There's one in the middle called uh, Xennials, Zennials, and I don't, they just threw that in there, and it overlaps one of them. But anyway, um, things haven't changed.
Yeah.
So in the 30s or 40s, there were no black policemen. There were no black boss or manager because there weren't any in real life, and therefore your movie wouldn't look real. And it's just the way it is. They
Mm.
didn't have little people being bodyguards.
Yeah.
You know, so you had to when you cast and you wrote, and you were looking to put women, Asian women, white women, whatever, in a role, you have to make sure that they do it in real life.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not believable. And the same thing with kids. Scared to death of kids because one slip and fall and they own you
Yeah.
and your film and animals.
Oh,
Peter
yeah.
was right there for the filming of every film. They even wrote a letter to the production company that they want pictures and medical records or whatever of the duck before they start with Howard the Duck. They got a scathing letter from Lucas's legal people, and they got a sweet letter from the vice president, Price. A sweet letter to Peter that
Mm-hmm.
it's not a real duck; it's a mechanical duck, little person in a costume. Blah 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 blah. George, he had to co-sign it. They walked it over to George to sign it, and he put it in the shredder. He said, "You're not going to talk nice to these assholes. They don't know that a duck from a prop.
Yeah.
You know, they just got too much time on their hands."
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote it. He goes, "If you want to give threats, you know, I'm still living off my Star Wars money. Bring it on." You know,
Exactly.
because all you got is state money, and we know this state's broke. You know, and they just were forces not to mess with. And everybody complains about the wussy society that we've created. Kids play sports and nobody wins.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a
Get a
trophy.
trophy. Mm.
So we're talking about the wuss generation. Well, this wuss generation is fighting back, burning stuff up and smashing stuff, saying no more. Now we can't handle it.
Yeah.
Well, you call them a bunch of wussies, and they show you that they're not. You know,
And I wanted to ask you about Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? How long were
I
you
have no idea. I never saw him.
how long were you filming for that?
Me, I want to say 2 weeks on, 1 week off, and 2 weeks on.
Okay. All right. That had to have been, I mean, that was a great cast of characters to have worked with, right?
Yeah, the only reason that I wore the KKK outfit is because it was meant, and it worked. It was meant to embarrass the Klan,
Mm-hmm.
and we couldn't. We shot everything, most of the movie in Mississippi, and it's just that there's no way we could shoot the Klan outfit, setup,
Mm-hmm.
because even if your general, Billy Joe Jim Bob goes driving by
Yeah.
Right.
and sees a bunch of Klan
Yeah.
in a valley like a hole with flaming, and they're gonna start shooting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, join it. They either gonna, you're gonna shoot some. We want to. You either want to join you or they want to kill you.
So when they shot those certain scenes, that had to have been an undisclosed location where it
No,
was.
we had a great location, Los Angeles. They don't care about nothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Just don't block the streets.
Whatever you do.
Yeah, they hate it. They're not. Oh, it's Tom Cruise making a movie. Oh crap. They'll have the streets closed for 6
Streets
weeks.
are going to be shut down again.
Yeah,
Ed, could you ever see yourself doing? Have you ever done a serious role? Um, would you ever want to be like the leading role, like the leading man in a role?
Um, Baywatch is pretty much my episode. Um, um, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Mm.
It was done serious,
Yeah.
and by doing it serious, it made it funny.
Mm.
So, but serious. Oh, Phantasm 2.
Mm.
Very no jokes, no. It wasn't a Bride of Chucky. Um, I don't use the word favorite because if somebody asks me my favorite podcast
Uh-huh.
and I didn't name yours, you know, you'd feel bad, And
Yeah.
I've done probably 60 podcasts. I can't tell you which one is favorite.
Yeah.
Um, I've had one near fatal seizure, several falls, um, concussions. All this is after I retired, and so my memory isn't as good as it used to be. What's your name again? Um, isn't as good as it used to be. I have terminal lung disease, so lack of oxygen affects the brain,
Mm-hmm.
and lack of a brain, your oxygen suffers. No, so I end up. I probably got a good 10 minutes left, 15, and then I'll just start forgetting everything, and I'll get lost in my own conversation, and I'll start talking about ordering pizza. I'll just start talking about you know anything weird, like shut, go to commercial.
Commercial break.
We've lost him. We've lost him.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time. You probably already found that out a couple times talking to me. Like, well, what's this guy doing?
The heck is he talking about?
What's he doing?
My worst point was I don't get that many phone calls anymore, and Hollywood's not calling me, and if Hollywood's not calling you, your friends aren't calling you. Because your friends are only your friends because you're a movie star. So I've enjoyed the solitude and quietness. But I remember toward the end of my career, my husband would say, "Who was that?" And of course, I'm panicked. Who was where? What?
Yeah.
On the phone. He's, I, Somebody called? No, you called your agent. Why the hell did I call my agent? I don't know. I'm trying to get there. Help me. Why did you call your agent? What was said? Do you have a job lined up? Do we have to audition to go to?
Mm.
Things like that. And it got really bad. And now I look back and it had to be funny to deal with me, you know. And so I said I would never go through. They've diagnosed me with early onset Alzheimer's, but it's not going to come to fruition. It's it's from a couple of falls, so it's slowly coming back. I do memory exercises, and
And we're gonna go to commercial break.
yeah, give me stuff. Give me stuff. How come I don't? Do we have anybody in here with us?
Yeah, we got a couple
We
of people
do.
left.
We do.
Al, do you know Al?
Last name?
Side
Al
bottom.
Oh
Sidebottom.
yes, that's my buddy.
All right. Yeah,
Very good fan.
they're from Michigan also. So they said they're
Yeah,
from Michigan. So.
but I don't hold anything against him.
Now, have you ever gone back to Michigan? Did you miss it, or when you left there, that was it?
No, I've outlived all my family. My dad was the youngest of 13. There's one
Wow.
left. There's one left. His sister. My mom was the youngest of 6. There's none left. Um, I'm the youngest of 3, and I'm the only one left. So one passed away, a drunk driver, and one is just, what do you call it, estranged from the family. And so going back now, not a lot to to remember, but the irony of everything. You can go home. It's the only safe place when you're feeling, some of the biggest stars, Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, whatever.
Yeah.
All of those people, they could always go home, and nobody would go gaga over it. Trust me. In my case, the worst fan mail I ever got, and I don't know what your censorship is on your show, but it was, you know, being gay and all the connotation words that go with it. Um, my ex at that time, we adopted one child, and because uh, blacks can only date, can only adopt blacks,
Mm-hmm.
whereas white can adopt any color. And you only, and because he was HIV positive, and I'm not, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only thing I don't have with all my ailments, and you know, I got away with one of them. Um, he he take your second gabapentin. And those with HIV, you can only get a defective child. You can only get HIV children, or special needs.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know how they got special needs out of these two. These two were smart,
Huh.
but they knew how to use it though. I can't do it. I've got ADD, all right.
Yeah.
You can't even spell ADD, and and so I got letters, you know, um, gay this and queer that and nigger lover, and they all came from my hometown.
Wow.
That's
I only
horrible.
got one. I only got one letter that sticks out. If the only reason I have the career that I have is my height, because I surely don't have any talent. And
Well,
I said, you would be so lucky to be as broke as me, okay? Because I don't have any talent. They're just hiring for my size. They paid me a lot of money. I bought 3 houses before I was 25. Where do you live? Which trailer park do you live in?
yeah.
No offense, that's just me
Yeah.
being mad at him for
Right.
that moment.
Right.
And then leaving Michigan, I got to see a lot of things. And people were talking about mobile homes and trailer parks. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
are you kidding me? Those rat holes? Oh my God. They've got, some of them have 5 golf courses, and Jack Benny played there. And, these are trailer parks, I'm going to tell you. They're not. In fact, to get rid of the name trailer park, they used manufactured homes.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell? And they don't want to be associated with certain, like little people. They added midget because a dwarf was misshapen and he didn't want to be a dwarf.
Yeah.
He wanted to be a midget. And then all of a sudden, blink, and midget's a bad word.
Uh-huh.
I just go with it. I said, whatever they're calling us this week, just send me an email. So,
Well, what a story. Ed, I know we're getting to the top of the hour, but I want to ask you something because you had a great career, and
24 years.
24
Oh,
years,
that's awesome.
you know, and for your legacy, because I see now like Howard the Duck. He's like a superhero now. On
Right?
I believe he's like a superhero now on the Marvel or something like that. They're putting him on all kinds of things. But
Yeah.
I like to ask you something before we get off of here. With your career, and you want people to remember, what do you want most people to remember you for? Is it for yourself, for what you stood for, or for your movies?
Yeah, I didn't stand for anything, as far as, I wasn't politically motivated. Um, uh, just life is short. Live it. You know,
Mm,
I'm 57 years old. I might see 80. I might not see 57 this coming August.
exactly.
And I'd say life is short, and so am I. just do whatever you want to do. If you want to be an actor, so you can buy your mama a house, it'll never happen because you're doing it for the wrong reason. You want to be a rock star because of all the chicks and all the drugs. Well, half the damn drugs are legal now, so that's no fun. And and all the female has to do is get pregnant, and she owns you for the rest of your life, which was her goal. So don't do anything for anybody but you, because you can't. Now, are you and Kat together?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Kat.
Yeah, I know. I know. Look at me and look at her.
Oh, you could have done better, but he's got pretty hair though.
I've got the best.
I like you too, Ed.
Right, right. You're still my number one, buddy.
There you go.
But no, Red Skelton said it the best. Take your relationship very serious, and you got someone next to you that's going to grow old with you. Take your job very serious, and if you do it right, it'll afford you a retirement pension or whatever. But don't take life too seriously. You're not getting out of it alive.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I know you got a fan page on there, and I've gone back there several times and watched some of your live feeds, and you're so personable with the people, your fans, and you treat them so well. You send them, you have them message you, and you send them autograph pictures and stuff. That's
every show I did, every film I did, I tried to do one free a year. I had strict rules. If Lucas was directing, I'm not doing it for free. I won't do an $80 billion movie for free.
Yeah.
I mean, a student film, or someone like you and your cronies want to do a documentary on, making podcasts.
Uh-huh.
And you wanted me to do something on it. I'd say no, but I'd end up doing it. And so I try to do one free a year. And then, since I'm the other side now, on the hill going down, I try to give away one free picture during either my podcast or maybe yours, but I don't see any. I haven't seen one comment yet.
Really?
Oh, we've been putting them up.
There's all kinds of
Oh, is that what? There it is.
Yeah, we've been putting them up.
Then can you see them now?
Yeah, it went too fast. Will I be able to see all of them again?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think Scott was my cousin.
Scott Culp? He's from Ohio. I work with this guy. He's from Ohio.
From, or just there when you knew him?
He's from.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, because all my family's Michigan.
Yeah.
I didn't know Scott could have been it's a last name. Well, Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio.
Oh yeah.
29 million people and 5 last names.
Yeah. Well, here's a question for you. Did you ever meet Mini Me from Austin Powers, and did you want to whip his ass? Well, that's good, Chris.
Yeah, I mean it's not. I don't joke about the people who died, but at the same time, if you were an asshole, then you still are, just because just because you passed away.
Yeah.
You don't get all things washed away.
Yeah.
These fake ass Christians want to believe that so they can, get out. All you got to do is say sorry, cross your finger. No, but he had his own demons, obviously.
Yeah.
He died of suicide, alcohol poisoning. So it wasn't an accident. But kick his ass, no. Because I always said, whenever they wanted a gimmick, they would hire Myron Page. He didn't know he passed. Oh, really? Well, yeah, he alcohol poisoning. God, has it been a year?
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know he passed either.
Can you believe Michael's been gone, 10 years?
Yeah. Wow.
He died in 09, so 19 was 10 years.
Yeah. Long time.
Yeah, and it just goes by so fast. I mean, my mom's been gone 40s plus because I was 13, 14. So when I was 53, yeah, a few years ago, she hit the 40, and wow, what were you doing, you know?
Yeah.
But, no, never wanted to kick his ass. Um, wasn't friendly when I met him at that particular time. And then toward the end, he was nice to everybody. He loved going to the, what do you call it? Conventions, the autograph conventions.
Uh-huh.
Hated going to them in the beginning. And I did too. I think we all do because we feel like we've stepped down, you know, and
Uh-huh.
now we're with the has-beens, you know, and it's hard to take. And then you realize that there is no more work. Maybe because you're too old or you're like me, you know, my brain's going to outlive my body. Um, and so then you start enjoying it, and I love it. You know, I the conventions, but they're all cons, so I won't go.
Yeah, I know. It's almost like because
It's a con.
I did a lot of stuff with like in a professional wrestling. My brother was a professional wrestler also, and it's the same thing. Once you get to a certain age, and you've been out on that spotlight, and then you can't do it no more. Then you start going to the comic cons and stuff, and
Right.
and like you say,
But be honest with me. Be honest with me. How many? I can't say professional wrestling because it's not professional and it's not wrestling. Um, it's entertainment
it's
and
entertainment.
well paid, and it's stunts. I mean, it's
Oh, they're
you
extraordinary.
can't. But how many wrestlers do you know, without saying any names, because
Mm,
are the dumbest people that God ever give a pulse, and they can be taken advantage of.
yeah.
And a lot of the Playboy bimbos. There's a lot of smart ones that you can't mess around with, but they don't outweigh the dumb ones,
Yeah.
and they get taken advantage of every time.
Now they're saying, hold on here. Mary Kay Wolf says, I want a pic. She wants a pic and autograph. So she can go to your official Ed Gale site on Facebook, and they
And
can
send me a message because
send him.
I don't have a page yet. I got to figure out who knows how to use Wix or Shopify because I've got them halfway done, and I'm just confusing the hell out of me.
And
So,
we'll put those links up there. So if you want to catch Ed, go over there and check it out. He said just message him and he'll get back, just like he did with me. I messaged him and he said, this crazy guy wants me, leave me alone, but he's here,
yeah, right.
and you came. So
Danger.
we, 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 we appreciate you
Oh,
coming on the
yes.
show and taking the
I
time.
just appreciate my attitude changed when I realized that I shouldn't be upset that I'm at some godforsaken con full of people I never even heard of.
Mm,
But there's a couple of hundred people. There's thousands, but there's a couple of hundred people that actually remember me. So you better leave the ego at the door.
yeah, exactly.
And I'm only a has been is because I can't be. You know, if I could be, I'd still be working. But
You're
No,
not a
you're not a
has been, and
has-been.
a lot of people love you, and you're still out there, and you're so
oh,
personable with everybody to send them an autograph. How many people do that, Ed?
Exactly.
oh yeah, and then once a month, once a year, maybe I haven't figured it out yet. But I want to. I got it. It's so hard with Google. I can't come up with a question that somebody can't look up on internet 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's all out there
Uh,
about me. Everything's out there by me. About me and you. So, but I try to do it. I come up with certain questions, or I ask people questions, and I give away one picture, one of every picture that I own. I
that's
give.
awesome.
It
It's a
is.
set. I got about 15 pictures that you know that I've had made up into autographs. publicity, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll sit there and sign them. The only thing I don't do is I don't take dictation. Tell me who to put it to.
Yeah.
Right.
Put Cat and Dale, but don't say I had the greatest time on your show. It's the best show, and we had good. And next time we're gonna have lunch. And I'm not gonna remember you in 2 weeks.
Exactly.
You want me to write down that we're going to the family reunion on Saturday?
You got to.
I think it's sweet that they asked me, to go places like a wedding, a high school reunion, but
Of course.
it's scary. I don't think I could.
Myron Page says, Ed's cool, great journey, great movies you were a part of.
Absolutely.
And people remember that.
My husband's name is Minard, and his brother is Myron.
Myron, there you go. There's Myron Page. Myron, he's my co-host, and we do another show called Asylum Talk Radio, all about music, and he's our co-host. So, good guy. Richard saying Ed is the best and a dear friend. Richard Leo Lamont.
Richard Lamont.
Lamont.
Thanks for joining us, Richard.
I don't remember. Did you retire, Richard? Or did you move over to a different section? I don't want to give away anything.
You want to give anything away yet, so maybe he'll answer you.
No. Obama will be mad, but anyway, no. No, he does work for the president, and her name is Michelle Lamont.
Says yes, 27 years. Just
what?
Retired.
Oh, wow.
Just, okay.
Just
don't tell me you've been retired for 27 years.
Congratulations.
How long did that coma last?
And he says, and you can tell them what I did.
He brought me gifts from the White House.
Wow.
Nice.
He works. Now, I forgot, because you call them by their numbers. Like, Reagan was 42 and Obama was, they call them numbers. So how many did you work for, Richard? How many numbers?
Gosh, in 27 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch Howard the Duck tonight.
Been a few years since I've seen it. Well, there you go. See, now you're bringing people,
you gotta tell
back.
Your psychiatrist that medicine ain't working.
But you bring back memory. You bring back
27
three
years?
presidential administrations. Wow.
Yeah, but in 27 years?
Wow.
You get long vacations.
George Bush, Obama, and Trump.
Well, and
you got 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah, 8 years.
8 years and 4.
Yep.
Served 3 total, but served under many.
Yeah, right.
That's all right.
Congratulations, Richard, on your retirement.
No kidding. Oh, everybody retire. I wish I could retire. I gotta get up and go to work tomorrow, Ed.
I know.
he brought me a picture of the Air Force 1 and 2.
Oh.
And the helicopter. I forgot that one. But did you know, Nancy Reagan knew that Ronnie, as she would call him, didn't need or want to be around cigarette smoke. And they'd always get a White House pack of cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
Because the package and stuff is so similar to what they needed. She, and there's Huddy. That's his son.
Aww.
What is he in college? He's about 5.
No, he's in college, yeah.
But I know he's taller than me now. So they were able to do the matching size, and when in the Reagan administration, if you stayed the night, let's say you got slippers, White House towel, White House everything. It's worse than a movie release. Turning 8.
Okay,
he's done. He's not allowed. He's 9. He turns 9, and I'm gonna punch him in the nose.
8's the limit. 8 is the limit.
8's enough. Remember the movie?
Yeah, 8 is enough.
8 is enough.
The same way she had it made up and filled with M&Ms or jelly beans. Didn't she love jelly beans, Ronnie?
I think it was jelly beans.
Jelly beans.
Yeah, I think she had them filled up with jelly beans, or they struck a deal with M&Ms.
That's a good idea.
There were no cigarettes coming from the Reagan administration.
That's a great idea.
Wow.
And I got one. I got a deck. But I think I actually got. Did I get cards? They switched back to cards because of that's a Reagan thing. And they wanted to let him have it. Take it with him. And so for them to keep the cigarettes out and not steal, the jelly beans, I think they used them anyway. But yeah, I got autographed pictures from all of the military people and
That's awesome.
Nice.
coins. I got a vice president coin and a presidential coin. And it's just fun. I wish I could fly, but I'd like to see I miss the towers, so I want to not miss anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ed, are you an animal lover? Because I believe, don't you still have a dog?
No, mine had made me give the dog away.
Oh,
And he says I can have a cat, and he's
you can
definitely
have ours.
he's definitely allergic to kittens or cats, but I can have one. But it has to be hypoallergenic, and I don't want a hairless.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
That's just like
Yeah,
you walked into the wrong door of the bathhouse.
I know. I wouldn't want a hairless either.
Yeah.
Besides, no one on this planet is allergic to animal hair.
It's the dander.
The dander and the saliva.
Mm-hmm.
Samantha Madison says, "Hello, Ed. My son Nathan and I love you."
I love you and your hopefully over 18-year-old son.
It's a shame you got to be careful like that now,
Oh, I would always take. Can you see my hand? Can you see my hand?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There we go. Whenever I put my arm around a child,
Uh-huh.
I would always be out like that, and I would touch him with the wrist.
Oh, yeah.
There's nobody going to be standing behind me with a picture,
Yeah.
Right.
Just based on our height, where my hand's going to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And his is going to be around my neck. Oh, did I tell you they wanted me to double for that orangutan?
No.
It was
Every which way loose.
It was. I think it was the same ones. Like the ones with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
But not that movie.
Okay.
Animals work. You see the same animals all the time. You just don't realize it.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was about my height, so I figured he had the strength, of a 4-year-old. And he said, at any time you feel nervous, walk toward, the orange vests. They look like highway workers. Just walk toward them naturally. Don't run, don't nothing. They can tear a car door off without hitting the button to open it. Just tear the whole thing right off. And I said, "I'll keep going. I'm not paranoid yet, but keep going. You get there." And this little SOB was so proud because he was taller than me by just enough. He was tall, and he knew I was an adult because of the hair. He was like, he looked at me and he'd play with it. Because they're primates. They're smarter than mammals.
Yeah.
And he'd play with it and he'd kiss me. Oh, God damn. No, the kisses have got to go. You ever smoked banana and ass? Kiss a monkey. Kiss a monkey. But he puts his arm around my waist and just without thinking of it, lifted me straight up.
Wow.
And they're like, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. I said, that's in the rear view mirror. Panic, we lost panic around that last corner. We're in paranoia, okay? He's 20, and he's an awesome guy with Asperger's autism. Oh, okay. Nathan? I'm so bad, honey. I got to see the name written and a little thumbnail picture. I don't know anybody. I need to see an emoji of my parents. I don't remember. That's why everybody thinks Minor and I have been together 18 years. and it's like,
Banana.
we call each other sweetheart and honey buns and all that other stuff. That is so cute. I said, cute. Hell, I forgot his name 8 years ago. I could do this all night now that it worked.
We could. Well, Ed, it's getting to the top of the hour. Well, it's bottom of the hour now. And I tell you,
try to get it worked out where you can they can click it and they're in, make it simple. Why don't you use one everybody else uses?
The who?
Why don't you use the podcast that everybody uses?
Which one's that?
Oh, Facebook, Skype, YouTube.
We use YouTube.
Yeah, we use all that. This is just a different app that we use. That way we can put up different things. Like on Facebook. Facebook, you can't put up a picture like that. Or I can't throw that one up there. Hey, you were in motorcycle stuff. Look at that. Chopper Chicks from Zombie Town.
In Zombie Town.
There.
My name was above Billy Bob Thornton because that was his first film.
Who's this young guy?
Yeah.
Look at him.
That's
handsome man.
That's when I was working.
It's like Dapper Dan right there.
Do you still have your chair?
Do what, honey?
Do you still have your chair? The director's chair with your name on it?
I have a few from different shows, yeah.
Now, on the is that all that's on there is your name, or does it have any other insignia like from
all different? A lot of times it'll say like my name in the front, character in the back.
Okay.
Because I totally understand. A director, when I played, when I Tasha the Dinosaur from Land of the Lost. And they said, okay, Billy stands here, Tommy stands here, Tasha's over here. It's not, I know there's actors, if you don't call them by their name, they will walk off the set. And that was Rip Torn.
Oh.
Oh, mean. Mean just for the sake of being mean.
Yeah. Wow.
And, mean to me, called me a dumbass, and I'm like, because I didn't know how to hit somebody with a real wooden handle, like an axe handle, with no axe. But I didn't know, he says, I got knee guards on, you dumbass. If you do it right the first time, you don't have to do it again. Well, I'm shook up because he's Rip Torn.
Yeah.
That's when I realized he was nobody then.
Yeah.
And his daughter was so sweet. And Betty Davis' mother once told her, never speak ill of the dead, only good. And when Joan Crawford passed away, she said, Betty, who? Who died? Joan Crawford.
Joan Crawford.
So she said, Joan Crawford died. Good.
Ooh.
She spoke good.
Wow. Said both. She spoke good.
Mom told her.
Yeah.
And back then your parents scared the hell out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Now you laugh at them. But anyway.
Exactly. We grew up in a different age back then.
And our parents said the same thing, and we were like, what? You never had sex. You never snuck out a window.
No. No.
And
we never did. We were good.
I couldn't.
No, your parents. You always say that's, and you couldn't figure out how they caught you. Because they know what the wooden floor sounds like.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
When you're creeping around. If your mother got busted when she was a kid, because the window squeaks.
Yep.
Well, your window squeaks, and there you go. And kids are like, especially the ones that Aaron and I were raising. How did you know?
Yeah.
And I said, during any given day, you don't hit the toilet. And you didn't hit it last night either.
Mm-hmm.
and you don't get out of bed.
It's that parent dar.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
but
what?
I'll tell you what, Ed, it's been such a pleasure having you on our show, and
Oh,
you
I
have
could
such
do
a
this so much.
you have such a
That's,
great story, and so many people remember the movies that you've been in. You're gonna live forever, Ed. You know, I mean, like when I'm gone, nobody's gonna remember who Dale Garza is. A couple days later, and I'm gonna be gone. But Ed Gale, they're gonna remember you forever. You're an icon. You got iconic movies, and you're always gonna be remembered.
remember the movie. They don't know who Ed Gale is. I get to retain my privacy and stuff, but as long as they remember the movies, because we put a lot of work into it.
Oh, and they will.
And they do.
And somebody put a lot of money into it. I just hope they don't. These kids that are my fans now, in the 8, 10, 12-year-old range, they don't grow up and try to make a freaking remake of a movie that should have never been made to begin with. No, Myron, I did not do the voice of Howard. That was Chip Zion, a voiceover artist. And they were going to go with Robin Williams, and they decided against it because it would be the Robin Williams movie.
Yeah.
I met a few of them that were going to be Robin Williams, son of a bitch, Jeff. Oh, no. Oh, Home Alone. The guy that Nathan Lane. I think they were thinking of using him. Now he could have done it. Yeah. Robin, I don't think Robin could have done it because it would be the Robin Williams movie.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't hate being a part of, but it would go for naught.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Well, Ed, again, we want to thank you for joining us on the show. We appreciate you taking your time out and hanging out with us tonight. And
well, thank you for asking me. If we do it again, let's give me a few days to advertise it and figure out how to do it.
Ed, we would love to have you back on the show where we can do it. And I know we had some technical problems earlier tonight, and I would just love to have you back again soon. And
well, I think it would be fun if we started with my very first film. Well, once we get out of my first, 2 or 3 films, then we get into the nondescript ones. Then we can screw with people.
There you go.
People your age don't realize I was in Baywatch. Kids, 15, whatever, they don't know I was in Full House. I doubled the twins.
Really?
I doubled the kids in Little Rascals.
Wow.
The movie in '94.
Uh-huh.
So you got a lot to share. You still got a lot to share with us, and we're going to definitely have to have you back on so we can spend more time and get into the meat of all the stuff that you've done. Because
the meat and the potatoes.
Meat and potatoes, because you've done a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of people out there that still want to hear what you've been doing. Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, and it's just so hard. And unless, like on my show, on my web page, I do a lot of, web. I just pick up the phone and go live. I'm bored.
Yeah.
Mine works until like 1 a.m, and then he goes back. He leaves the house at 1:45 in the afternoon. So tell everybody when he's at work I'm alone, and when he's home I'm alone.
Yeah.
Because he sleeps. So I just pop on the phone. I just go live, and then I'll say, let's talk about, what was the first president, that you remember, and they'll be like, Obama, and I'm like, Jesus. No. And then if I hear one more 22-year-old say back in the day.
Oh, I know.
Back in the day, exactly.
Back in the day, or my people. And I'm talking about white kids who, or any color kid, I remember my people, your people didn't suffer anything except when their batteries went dead in their iPod.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That was tragic. Tragic.
Well, Ed, we're definitely going to have you back on. If you're willing to come back on the show, we would love to have you back on.
We got to solve all the problems of the world.
Exactly. And we wish you all the best.
Absolutely.
And go enjoy your rest of your night because it's still early for you, right? It's
6:40.
Yeah, it's 6:40. We're going on 10 o'clock here. So we appreciate you coming on, Ed, and we love you. And we're looking forward to having you back on the show. We'll talk more. And I'm going to be watching you on your official page because I just love that how personable you are with everybody, and you give them autographs and stuff. And people love you, Ed. And
if anybody's watching this rerun or live, and I should make spelling count because I'm over 50. You send me an email message at my Facebook or my Instagram, and you just type in orangutan because that's one thing I talked about.
Okay.
I'll know that you watched the show, and we'll send you a picture. My choice.
There you
My
go.
choice.
There you go.
And I got 700 of these.
Hey, can we message the orangutan, get us an autograph picture?
Yeah, do we count?
Could you put it out to the Dale and Kathy show? I love them so much that we can't wait to be back on their show. No, just kidding.
We gotta have dinner again.
All right, so hey guys, if you guys heard what Ed said, go to his page and private message and put in orangutan so he knows that you watched the show, and he'll get you an autographed picture of his choice and send it to you. That's a cool deal.
I believe Howard, Facebook and Instagram are real.ed.gale.
Ed.gale. And we'll put that link up on here also. Ed, thanks again for joining us, and we're looking forward to having you back on.
We sure are.
And getting that autograph picture saying how much you loved our show and we're the best show in the whole place that you ever been on. Just kidding.
I got a bracelet to prove
it. Ed, you have a great night. We'll talk with you soon.
Love you bunches, and thank you all for watching.
Thank you,
Ed. Later on.
We'll see you later.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We sure will. God bless you.
Good night, sweetheart.
Good night, Ed. Definitely, Ed. We're gonna have to have Ed back on the show because he's got so many stories, and it's all about somebody's life journey. There's people that have life journeys, and he had a great journey. We all got a journey. We're all going through a journey in life, and Ed's got great stories. He went for something he wanted to do as a child. I remember like watching the Wizard of Oz, like we were talking about. I remember when I was a kid and I wanted to be a stunt man. I was rolling off the roof of the house, and back then we had cowboy and Indian movies and stuff, and that's all we had back when we were in our age. But he
remember the boys playing soldiers.
Yeah, but he went for his dream and he did it. And God bless him, So, guys, and if you guys got a dream out there, go for it. Follow your dream. Anything's possible to do, and you can do it out there. So,
absolutely.
Again, guys, we want to thank you guys for hanging out with us. I know we went over tonight, and that's okay, because this is something we're going to be able to keep this video with Ed forever and share it with your friends and your family. And we'll have Ed back on our show soon because he got a lot to talk about and a lot of great stories. So with that being said, guys, everybody have a great night. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next Thursday. It's going to be my birthday. I turned 57, so it'll be my birthday.
Well, I thought you said you didn't know if we were even going to do
I don't know if we're going to do a show. We may. I don't know. If we do a show, it's just going to be a birthday party and have a good time. Yep. So we're looking forward to that. So don't forget to join us on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. on Asylum Talk Radio with Myron Page, Gary Lopez, and Rachel Lovely and myself. And then Thursday nights with my beautiful wife, Kat, on the Dale and Kat show. And again, Ed, we appreciate you coming on the show and taking the time with us. And we'll see you guys. Everybody have a good night. We'll see you guys.
We love you all.
See you guys next time. Peace.
Thank you.
God bless. Keep it old school, everybody. Mwah.